Mary Black there. Thank you very much indeed, Mary. No Frontiers. And I'll just remind you once again about Shauneen Smith from Beleeks, who's suffering horrendous health problems at the moment and needs to go to London to be sorted out. It cannot happen on the island of Ireland. So if you are of a mind to help, check it out and try. If you're someone across the world, one of our regular viewers or someone who's just picking up the broadcast today, you'll be aware of Shauneen. And you can find out about her many complex illnesses on facebook.com/Fight On Shauneen. Facebook.com/Fight On Shauneen. That's SEANIN. She does need your help, and if you're in a position to give it, do please make contact. You're most welcome. It's Destination Newry, and this is Damien Houlahan. How are you, Damien?
Good.
You're from, I'm well, from Armagh Council.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
Navan Fort is the place, and it's now strong again after for years, well, some years anyway, a couple of years anyway, been redundant and lying there, very little happening. What was the story of its revitalisation?
Well, the centre closed, I believe it was in 2001, and subsequent years Armagh City and District Council bought over the location and temporarily ran it on a seasonal sort of capacity. But in 2009 we opened full time, all year long, 12 months a year, thankfully.
So you're back in full stride again.
We are, absolutely. Yeah.
If one goes this Easter time down there, what will one see?
Well, Easter, we have sort of a unique event this Easter anyway.
A unique event? A
unique event, yeah. So it's not a Celtic themed event. It is really pitched at the younger kids, and it's the three Billy Goats Gruff.
Wow!
So yeah, it's a very simple story. So we try and engage the younger kids, so they get an opportunity to get face masks, face painting. And we have characters who come and sort of narrate the story of the three Billy Goats.
So you're gaining their interest early.
Yeah, really. Yeah, it's just, you know, like for ourselves anyway. It's an opportunity to get sort of visitors through the door.
Yeah.
So it is.
The history of Navan Fort, and really, if you like, it's a kind of medieval theme park, I suppose one could say now, commemorating the early days of those who came to Ireland and settled. Maybe Vikings are in there among them.
Well, it's pre-Viking period, like
pre-Viking.
Pre-Viking.
Was it Bronze Age?
It's both Bronze Age and Iron Age. Navan is an interpretive centre for Alan Macha. And basically Alan Macha is where the kings and queens of Ulster would have lived from 1200 BC to approximately 400 AD.
Yeah.
So it's a place of great significance.
Alan Macha, does that translate to the modern Armagh?
The similarities.
It's close.
It's close. Alan Macha basically is meaning the twins of Macha.
Yeah.
So at Owen we have a body of myth and legend, a body of story, which is really, really unique. And the stories are known as the Ulster Cycle of Tales.
I've heard of this.
Within the Ulster Cycle of Tales you have a number of really important characters, such as Houlahan, King Conor MacNessa, the story of Deirdre and Nisha. But there's also a story of a lady called Macha. And Macha is a goddess who appears to a man called Cruinniuch. And basically she falls pregnant.
Yeah.
She is challenged to race against the king's chariot. She wins the race.
My goodness.
After she wins the race, she gives birth to twins. So that's where we get the twins of Macha.
Of Macha. Yeah. It's interesting because I think it's true to say that you are unique in that you are the only interpretive centre in Ulster, possibly in Ireland, of the events of that period.
Yeah, I believe so. The Iron Age, Bronze Age. There is similar visitor attractions that would have elements of the Iron Age period. But I mean, for us ourselves, like what we have is so unique. You know, it's very rare that you actually get a place where there's a body of mythology, but also a place where there's extensive archaeology. And in many ways, the two complement each other.
What has the archaeology brought to your attention?
Well, the archaeology really would indicate that over that period of time, from 1200 BC to 400 AD, there was a series of important structures, okay, throughout the area. So we actually have 4 key sites at Owen Mocha, not just one. But the main one that we focus upon is obviously Navan Fort. So during that period of time, there was a number of like structures, figure 8 dwellings.
Yeah.
But
It's interesting actually to just to underline the fact that you're 1,200 years before the coming of Christ. You're pre-Christian.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So what was the figure of 8 dwelling?
Well, we don't know. For over maybe 300 to 400 years, there was a series of figure 8 dwellings built on top of Navan, the Navan drumlin. But because of what has been discovered there, it would indicate that it was definitely a place of importance. For example, one of the things discovered in that period was the skull of a Barbary ape.
A Barbary ape?
So
this means these people travelled.
Well, obviously, or they possibly had trade links with people from different locations. So a Barbary ape would be very local to Gibraltar or the Morocco area,
Of course.
So not Armagh or Newry.
No, indeed. These are this creature would have been brought back.
Yeah, so it was obviously, a person of great significance. And this was given as a gift or a trophy, you know.
Of course, in those days, possibly not that far back, but not far beyond it, there was a great trade in stone axes up in Rathlin Island, and they were exported all across the world from Rathlin. So there could be some kind of interplay
Yeah, absolutely.
there.
I mean, like, we have this perception that Celtic Ireland was very much, exclusive. We were away out in the mid-Atlantic and no connection, but that really wasn't true. Although we didn't even have the Romans here, there was definitely trade with Romans, and things that would have been traded, for example, would have been ourselves, slaves.
The residents of Owen Mocha, what would they have worked at? Would they have been fine people, aristocratic people? Would they have been workers? What sort of folk would they have been?
Just, like society today, you would have had all of those things.
Really?
Yeah. Well, we believe so anyway. But something that they were very, that they held in esteem was the warrior class.
Yes.
So the warriors of Owen Mocha or Ulster were known as the Red Branch Knights.
Wow.
So
now it's coming together for us.
Yeah. And in that that's where you have, the idolization of Houlahan and stuff like that, because he was the greatest warrior of all.
That's what they say. And down there, how many structures have you got that are standing and recreated?
Well, at present we have one large structure.
Is that the Great Roundhouse?
Yes, that's the roundhouse, and that would have been similar to what the figure 8 dwelling would have looked like. So that is it is a reconstructed dwelling and made from willow and blackthorn, with a thatched roof.
Yeah.
So it really brings to life, what life would have been like. Plus we have our characters in there too. We have living history characters in there that are interpreting life.
How did the people govern themselves? What was the system of governance?
Well, there was a kingship. There was a king. So the king of that period of time, the most famous king, would be King Conor MacNessa.
Yeah, and would he have had those who kind of worked for him as his emissaries to the people?
Quite possibly. We don't know.
We don't know.
The great thing about the Celts, they didn't write anything down.
They didn't.
No. So that's an oral tradition was very evident.
I think, thank God for the monks who came later.
Yeah,
the
that's
Book of
correct.
Kells and things.
Yeah, that's right.
All of that. Is there any record of major conflict at the time in the area?
Yeah, well, absolutely. Within the Ulster cycle, we have the story of the Táin. So, and the Táin is the cattle raid of Cooley.
Yeah.
So, in that story, the province of Connacht try and invade Ulster, and they are successfully defeated by Houlahan.
By Houlahan.
By Houlahan.
Go ahead.
Structurally, there is things that would link. For us, the important period of time is 95 BC, and in that period of time, the Great Temple was built. So,
where was the Great Temple?
Where the figure of 8 dwellings were.
Wow.
So after the figure of 8 dwellings, a massive temple was constructed, and to our knowledge, it's the you know, it's a one of a kind. It was 45 meters in diameter, and it was built for a specific purpose. Okay, but around that period of time, there was also like other activity that happened in Ulster. So in Dorsey and South Armagh, for example, we have the Dorsey ditches, and the time frame for that is 95 BC.
Wow.
So we believe that there was, you know, some sort of linkage between those. And of course, the Dorsey ditches link between the Cooley Peninsula and the Black Pig's Dyke, which is an extended boundary of defensive structure of Ulster in that period.
I'm beginning to see lines of connection between major sites. Is there anything in that theory?
Yes, there is. There's definitely linkages. So for example, there's the royal sites in Ireland. So each province has a royal site, and but interestingly enough, we've actually made application to UNESCO to become a World Heritage site, but it's a joint application with those sister sites of ours.
Of course.
So, and I think that's a very good thing.
Now, you mentioned the Great Temple. That's some size, at 45 meter diameter. What gods did they worship?
Well, they're like, we believe that they would have worshipped a number of gods, and a lot of those gods would have been like related to the Tilted de Danann. So, for example, Maka would have been a goddess that they would have, you know, give worship to.
She was the one who raced the chariot and had the twins.
Yeah. She was a fertility goddess, a goddess of war. Lu would have been a goddess.
He was the son.
Lu would have been a god that they would have worshipped, and he's the sun god. Yeah. So and
Louth is called after him.
Exactly, and Lunasa, the month of August, is named after him too.
It's we mentioned the Ton, the cattle raid. I have a philosophy. I can't prove it, but it's a notion I have. I can't envisage Maeve coming all the way from Connacht for one bull. I think she was coming to conquer the entire Cooley Peninsula area.
Yeah.
And I think if you look at Slieve Foy in the right light, it has the form of a bull, a big massif, lying down with its chin on its feet there. So I think that became a symbol. The bull became a symbol for the massif of Cooley, and that she came to conquer Cooley. Yeah. And she didn't win. She was driven back.
She was driven
Why would you take your armies up and go to the risk of being defeated for one bull? You would hardly do it.
Well, you know, legend Maeve was a very, you know, she craved power, like, you know.
Well, she was a woman.
So, you can maybe say that, but I can't. I'm married.
Well, I'm married too, but I mean, I was married. But maybe that's why the word "was" comes in. So, how is business at the fort?
It's going well. We had a very, very good year last year, and the way the bookings are coming in this year, it's very good for us.
So, can schools go to you?
Yeah,
schools
for sure,
parties.
Schools parties, tour groups, just normal groups. We have a lot of like senior groups who come in and they would book in for the day with us. We do birthday parties too. And of course we have a number of events that happen during the course of the year as well.
I'm a bit worried that you, not that I should be, because it's within a context, that you're doing kind of Bill and Ben and stuff like that. You know, when really, I think Navan Fort is about the culture and the history. Well, but that's your prime business.
No, that's our prime business. I mean, for the Easter thing, that's really just a one-off, and the reason why we do it is because there's no direct linkage between Navan and Easter. You know, and you know, we're here to meet demand as well.
Okay. Where do people get you? How do they have you a website?
Yeah, we have our website. It's at navan.com.
Navan.com.
Yeah.
Will that get them through to you?
That'll get us straight to our website.
Navan.com. Yeah. And the Easter thing?
It'll be on their site.
On that as well, right.
Yeah, and we have Facebook and Twitter as well. So
that's all there. We'll let them settle with Navan.com. Damien, thank you for coming in.
Thank
You've been very, very good.
Thank you.
Go well, take care.
Thanks
Some
very
music,
much.
sir.